requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given, said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News and Star Ledger on Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, as well as posting on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Council members Armani,
Here.
Davis, present. Good,
Present.
McCray,
Present.
Sorge,
Here.
Vice President Hockaday,
Here.
Council President Bill Ransom.
Present.
We have a quorum this evening.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Humbly, we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen. Amen.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, Monday, 11/2019?
Move.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Clerk, are there any communications from the mayor?
Yes, Madam President. His Honor, the Mayor, Adrian O'Map, has submitted the following nominees for vice and consent from the governing body. Carl Marshall, Plainfield Municipal Court Judge, and Catherine Cole Doof, alternate number 2 to the Plainfield Zoning Board.
Thank you. At this time, Councilwoman Ashley Davis will present a councilmanic resolution congratulating the Plainfield Youth Empowered for Success basketball program.
If we could have all the participants of the Yes League, as well as the coaches and the staff come up. And the founders. The City of Plainfield, the Plainfield Municipal Council. The City of Plainfield, the Plainfield Municipal Council hereby issues this resolution honoring the Plainfield Youth Empowered for Success Basketball League, introduced by Councilwoman Ashley Davis. Whereas the governing body of the City of Plainfield is proud to recognize and honor the outstanding achievements of the Plainfield Youth Empowered for Success Basketball League. And whereas the Plainfield Youth Empowered for Success Basketball League was founded in 2016 by Park President Terrence Johnson and community activist Lenny Cathcart, the league provided the youth of all ages a safe, effective, rewarding, competitive level basketball experience for all children in the City of Plainfield. And whereas the Plainfield Yes League began their program with 180 participants that has now grown to an amazing 270 participants who reside in several cities across the state of New Jersey. And whereas, in addition to their successful enrollment of new participants, the Plainfield Yes League has won several basketball title championships, including but not limited to the Red Division team earning the JBA title by defeating Woodbridge Township, the championship title by defeating the City of East Orange in their championship game. The 5th grade JBA team captured the Blue Division title, and the 5th and 6th grade teams won the Spalding Junior Hoopball Classic title held in Springfield, Massachusetts. And whereas the governing body of the City of Plainfield recognizes the significant positive influences such organizations achieve that help channel the energies and enthusiasm of so many citizens into healthy activities, teaching sportsmanship and the competitive will to win. The Plainfield Yes League exemplifies a mission of building today's youth to be tomorrow's leader. Now there be resolved that the governing body of the City of Plainfield congratulates the basketball team participants, staff, and family members of the Plainfield Youth Empowered for Success Basketball League. And be it further resolved that this governing body does hereby spread upon its permanent records the evidence of multiple achievements of such an outstanding group of young players, and does further send sincere congratulations. Adopted by the unanimous Municipal Council of the City of Plainfield. To the president of the organization, and then for all the parents who want individual copies, just see Sherry in the clerk's office. So we're going to take a picture, okay?
Councilman Elton Armani will present a councilman resolution recognizing the month of April as Donate for Life Month. Is the person from Clark here? The person from Clark?
Is Miss Lakeisha Bray in the audience? Oh, come on. So before I read the resolution, I just wanted to share. National Donate for Life Month was established by Donate Life America and its partnering organizations in 2003. Celebrated in April of each year, Donate Life Month features an entire month of local, regional, and national activities to help encourage Americans to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors, and to celebrate those that have saved lives through the gift of donation. This resolution is being dedicated to Ms. Lakeisha Bray, who is a donor mom, in memory of her daughter, Talia Joy Stokes. I wanted to also recognize my colleague, Elizabeth Stammer from Scotch Plains, who has really brought awareness to this cause around Union County and abroad. The City of Plainfield, New Jersey, the Plainfield Municipal Council hereby issues this resolution recognizing the month of April as Donate for Life Month. Whereas the Plainfield City Council is dedicated to raising awareness of the importance of organ, eye, and tissue donation, and whereas more than 120,000 men, women, and children in the United States currently need life-saving organ transplants, thousands of additional patients are in need of cornea and tissue transplants to restore vision and mobility. Every 10 minutes, a new name is added to the list of those in need, and 22 people die each day due to an organ not being available for transplant. Whereas organ, eye, and tissue donors leave an unforgettable mark on the lives of countless Americans, and their selfless acts inspire hope at moments of profound need. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Plainfield City Council seeks to actively encourage members of our community to consider becoming an eye, organ, or tissue donor by signing up to save lives on the New Jersey Donate Life State Donor Registry, and to celebrate their potentially life-saving decision with family and friends. And be it further resolved that the Plainfield City Council does hereby recognize the month of April 2019 as National Donate Life Month in our fair city, and extends appreciation to those who register to be donors of tomorrow, for remembering those who have been the donor heroes of yesterday and celebrating today the thousands of lives touched by the ultimate gift of life. And I also wanted to end just by sharing the statistic that we have about 48 individuals in the city of Plainfield that are currently on the list to receive organ donations. So we definitely want you guys to consider this.
My daughter Talia Stokes passed away on April 14th of 2014, and she was able to share the life of saving 4 people's lives. I just ask that on behalf of my family and the Sharon Network, if you've never considered being an organ donor, if you can do that, because you don't know, it could be yourself, your parent, or even maybe your child that may be in need. So I would definitely say if you can just reconsider signing up to be an organ donor. Thank you.
Unanimous Council, and Mr. Shelton Green, will you come forward, please? City of Plainfield, New Jersey, the Plainfield Municipal Council hereby issues this resolution recognizing the 1-year anniversary of the passing of the late Assemblyman Gerald B. Green, introduced by unanimous municipal council. Whereas the governing body of the City of Plainfield takes this moment to pay homage to the life and legacy of the late Assemblyman Gerald B. Green as we embark on the 1-year anniversary of his passing. And whereas prior to his passing, Assemblyman Gerald B. Green was the longest serving Assembly member in New Jersey. He served as Speaker Pro Tempore, representing the 22nd Legislative District. He served as a member of the Assembly Health and Human Services Committee since 2004 and also served on the Transportation, Local Government, and Health Committees and was the chairman of the Assembly Housing and Community Development Committee. And whereas dedicated to his roots and standing up for the lives of many, Assemblyman Gerald B. Green worked hard on behalf of the City of Plainfield to bring funding to support various issues of concern. As chairman of the Housing and Community Development Committee, he supported affordable housing bills and worked closely with organizations that support affordability for all residents. And whereas prior to earning his seat in the Assembly, Assemblyman Gerald B. Green served on the Union County Board of Freeholders from 1982 to 84 and from 1989 to 91, serving as the board's chair in 1990. He also served as the chairman of the Union County Democratic Committee for 4 years. And whereas Assemblyman Gerald B. Green leaves behind to cherish his memory his wife, Wanda, 5 children, Sheldon, Tracy, Jory Jr., Tanika, and Jerron, 4 brothers, William, Charles, Kenneth, and Timothy, 4 sisters, Annette, Dolores, Esther, and Darlie, as well as a host of loving grandchildren and great-grandchildren who came to rely on his genuine good spirit and gentle soul. Now therefore be it resolved that the Plainfield City Council, County of Union, State of New Jersey, hereby pays tribute to the late Assemblyman Gerald B. Green, a true giant in the state of New Jersey, who paved the way for many to prosper due to his efforts. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution, suitably prepared, be presented to members of the Green family as a sincere token of this council's appreciation. Adopted by the unanimous municipal council of the City of Plainfield, April 8, 2019.
I want to thank everyone today, and I want to thank the mayor, the council, for recognizing the hard work that my father has done, but the work that he has started, we must still continue. one of the biggest things that he pushed for was for, excuse me for one moment, expungement for those who have been affected. Right now, the state of New Jersey is looking to pass marijuana for recreational use and how those funds should be utilized. One of the things that I hope that we're able to advocate in the city of Plainfield is that those dollars come into our community to provide mental health, to help peer our community. The United States declared war on drugs, and it affected minority communities. We were affected with opiate addiction, which caused people to cause all type of crimes, breaking up families. Now that we have the ability to raise dollars and raise the awareness that we have to go into our brown communities and put dollars back to heal, we need to push for mental care in our school systems and in the lives of everyone, because we will not be able to heal until we understand the problems that we have faced. So hopefully that we will push this. We will allow our families to be whole. We will take away the records from those who are affected by opiates to be able to wipe away, because when it affected our communities, it was a crime. Now that it affects most of America, it's now an illness. But we need to push and voice our concerns. We want reparations for the war that was placed upon our brown communities, that we need help to rebuild our communities. And this is the legacy and the support that I'm able to hope to be able to push in my father's name. We need to get our fair share of this money that's coming down with legalized marijuana, and it needs to come in our communities. And it starts by mental health for all of us. We all are affected. There's members in every one of our families who we watch go down, commit different types of crime, because it wasn't because they chose to. Because if they went to prison, they went to jail, they had a record, they couldn't get jobs, they couldn't get housing. So it was a cycle that kept going on and on. But we have an opportunity now to try to break that cycle. We have funding sources. We need to push the state of New Jersey that part of that money needs to go into mental health and put mental health counseling in our schools. Thank you.
Consideration and public hearing, second reading and final passage of NC 2019-06. Clerk, please read NC 2019-06 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2019-06 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the amended and restated redevelopment plan for the East 3rd Street and Richmond Street redevelopment area. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 16, 2019.
The floor is now open for any member of the public who would like to speak to this ordinance, on this ordinance. May I have a motion to close the public hearing of the ordinance?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law?
Move.
Second.
Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Roll
Clerk.
call on MC 2019-06. Councilman Omadi?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Sorge?
Yes.
Hockaday?
Yes.
Council President Mills Ranston.
Yes.
This ordinance is adopted on second reading.
Ordinance NC 2019-08 Clerk, please read MC 2019-08 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2019-08 is the ordinance amending the schedule of salaries and wages adopted pursuant to Article 14, Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield. It is hereby certified that notice of public hearing on this ordinance is published in the Courier News on March 16, 2019.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Second.
I did it. Elton, what did you do? Okay, let's go back. Did anybody second it?
I seconded, and I think
Okay.
Ashley moved it.
Okay.
We're ready.
Yeah,
Roll call on MC 2019-08. This is Councilman Amati,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Storch,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom. This
Yes.
ordinance is adopted on second reading.
A total of 30 minutes has been allotted for public comments limited to resolutions and ordinances being considered this evening. If you wish to be heard, please give your name and address to the clerk for the record. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. The floor is now open.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I have one question I'm sure the public would want to know. 2019-11. Why is it considered special emergency appropriation? And for bond 1267, what exactly is appropriated for $3.5 million? The big stuff on the survey.
Business Administrator.
I'm actually going to have our Chief Financial Officer to address those two.
Ordinance 2019-11 for the special emergency. Special emergency is by law under 40A 4-53, I believe it is, whereby it's to be paid over a 5-year period. Special emergency is just a title in the definition of the law. The bond ordinance encompasses approximately $1.2 million for road repaving throughout the city and another $2.3 million for various equipment and improvements throughout the city.
Thank you.
Peter Meyer, 1129 Merle Avenue. I just have a quick question. It might just be that I didn't get to read the backup, but for R 15219 and 15319, are they the same projects or are they two different projects?
I'm sorry, which one was that?
15219 and 15319.
They're two different projects.
Okay.
One is the 153 is really Central Avenue to Madison and then Second to Front Street. So they're two different.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no one else approach the mic, may I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
City Clerk, consent agenda?
Madam President, the consent agenda has been identified as R 134-119 through R 141-119 and R 151-19 and through R 159-19.
May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Omani,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom.
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved.
Clerk, would you please read the remaining resolutions?
Yes, Resolution R 142-19, authorizing a settlement in the matter of Aquila and Murphy versus the City of Plainfield.
May I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution R 143-19, authorizing the introduction of the calendar year 2019 Plainfield Municipal Operating Budget.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Omani,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom.
Yes.
Resolution 143-19 is approved. Resolution R 144-19, authorizing the auction of police vehicles no longer needed for use.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution R 145-19, authorizing approval to purchase a camera system and trailer.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution R 146-19, authorizing award of professional service contract to Benoni Associates Incorporated.
May I have a motion to approve?
Moved. Second.
Any questions?
Council President, I have a question.
Yes, Councilwoman Davis.
Director Dabney, for this project, has it been taken into account how the businesses on that area are gonna get deliveries? I know that was something that was brought up during the public hearing.
Good question. Yes, it is. They'll always have access to and from the location for deliveries, always. They'll be open, there'll be a way to get in and out. We definitely took that into consideration. We spoke to everyone.
Can you just explain a little bit more, like how they will be able to get in? Like, is it gonna be, like, just how it's gonna work? Because I feel like if people see a truck go on there, it might.
Okay, good question. We're gonna have access for everyone because not only we have to have access for the deliveries, we need to have access also for the rail. When there's an emergency for rail operations and repair, so there'll be an access roadway for them to go on to make deliveries.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
You're opposed?
Yes.
Oh. Any abstentions?
Okay, resolution.
You go ahead.
Resolution R 147-19, authorizing the award of a contract to Pasterno Giordano Construction LLC.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, any questions? I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes.
Resolution R 148-19, authorizing the award of a contract to S Brothers Incorporated.
May I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution R 149-19, authorizing acceptance of the 2-year maintenance bond, release of the performance bond, and pertains to Your Way Construction.
May I have a motion to approve?
Moved. Second.
In a second, okay. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And Resolution R 150-19, authorizing approval to submit a grant application to the NJDEP Green Acres Enabling Resolution.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam President.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye. No, wait, this one.
No, yes, you skipped.
I'm sorry, Councilman, I hear what you said.
We skipped 150.
I know.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be on 150. I'm sorry, let's go back.
Is that
Resolution,
yes.
yes.
On the sheet that you gave me, okay.
Yeah, 150 is a different resolution.
Okay, so what is
So this one is resolution authorizing approval to utilize the Moore County Co-op vendor for the installation of a fence at Silent Field in an amount not to exceed $409,533.67.
Okay, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All is in favor?
Aye.
There are no new items. Introduction of ordinances on first reading. We now come to ordinances on first reading. Clerk, will you please read ordinance NC 2019-09 by title?
Yes, MC 2019-09 is adopting the amended and restated redevelopment plan for the Todd North Avenue redevelopment area.
Are there any questions from the council? I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So be it.
Second. Clerk, did I get a second? Yeah. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Roll call on MC 2019-09. Councilman Amani?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Dufresne?
Yes.
Sorge?
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday?
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom?
Yes.
The ordinance adopted on first reading.
Clerk, will you please read ordinance 2019-10 by title?
Ordinance MC 2019-10 is adopting the amended and restated redevelopment plan for the Todd North Avenue redevelopment area.
Are there any questions from the council?
Todd South Avenue redevelopment area.
You did what?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's the ordinance adopting the amended and restated redevelopment plan for the Todd South Avenue redevelopment area.
Okay. Please correct council. Okay. Are there any questions from the council? I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on
So
first.
be it. Second.
Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Amani,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sorge,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom.
Yes.
This ordinance is adopted on first reading.
Clerk, will you please read ordinance NC 2019-11 by title?
MC 2019-11 is an ordinance providing for a special emergency appropriation in an amount not to exceed $200,000 to fund the preparation of a master plan in for the city of Plainfield. And the preparation, I'm sorry, not to exceed to fund the preparation of a master plan for the city of Plainfield.
Are there any questions from the council?
Yeah, just one for the Economic Development Director, I think. At the last meeting, I think there was a comment that we were going to ensure citizen participation by holding hearings in each of the wards. I just want to make sure I got that right. Is that confirmation of that?
Yes, the outreach plan for the master plan is that we will have a public meeting in each ward. Then we will also have a public meeting for high school students. We will also have a public meeting for young adults associated with the master plan. And then, of course, we'll be presenting to council a couple of times. One, to explain the approach, and secondly, to explain the themes of the master plan.
Okay, I just want to mention to my colleagues, you may or may not know, the master plan does not have to be approved by the governing body.
Right.
So I urge you to get your input in whatever way you can, certainly by attending those public hearings.
Yes, we would love for each council person to attend ward meetings just to get an idea of input. And plus, we'll always take your input.
Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So be it. Second.
Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Amati,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom.
Yes.
This ordinance is adopted on first reading.
Clerk, will you please read ordinance NC 2019-12 by title?
MC 2019-12 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2019 capital acquisitions and improvements by and in the city of Plainfield and the county of Union, the state of New Jersey, appropriating $3 million and and therefore authorizing the issuing of $3,325,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance parts of the cost thereof.
Are there any questions from the council? I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So be it.
Is a second?
Second.
Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Council members Amati,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday,
Yes.
Council President Mills Ransom.
Yes.
This ordinance is adopted on first reading, and a public hearing on these ordinances will take place at the next regular meeting of the City Council on Monday, May 13, 2019.
We're around general comments, but before that, I see some members of CBAC present in the audience today, and we'd like to introduce them to the public. I will ask the council people if they know theirs. I know mine because I don't know everybody's. But I'm just going to take this presidential privilege and introduce Tanya McNeil Stepney, who is my appointee to CBAC.
My appointee is Miss Valerie Ellis, the lovely Miss Ellis.
Where are you? Is this?
Gary Akers, First Ward, my appointee.
My appointee is Cheyenne Andrews.
And my appointee is Mr. Juan Velasquez.
Thank
My
you.
appointee is Lyle Kamenew.
Is he here?
Is he here? I don't see.
No.
Mine isn't here, but it's Tuisha Rogers.
Thank you. They are volunteers and they have a job to do, so we thank you. Now, general comments. A total of 60 minutes has been allocated for all public comments to be presented. If you wish to be heard, please give your name and address to the clerk for the record. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed will be limited to 5 minutes. The floor is now open.
Nancy P. 1129 Myrtle Avenue. Two things. First, I want to start off with a compliment. Today there was some work done at the Drake House by the DPW, and I appreciate what they did. But I want to make a compliment because at the same time I had a contractor out there to give me an estimate for something, and after the DPW workers left, he told me, and this man was from out of town, from Berkeley Heights, he goes, "Boy, I'm really impressed." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "They did the job fast, they didn't waste any time, they did what they had to do, and they left." And I said, "Yeah, that's how we work here." And I just want to say thank you to your crew, and I just want you to know that somebody from outside of town noticed and said something positive, and I'm sure he's going to go back to where he lives and talk about it, because it was totally unsolicited comment, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, my other question is a civic lesson. Okay, an ordinance and a resolution. Which one takes precedent, and do they have to match if you do an ordinance for like a redevelopment plan and then you name a developer? Do they have to match, or which one takes precedent?
Thank you, Council President. Ordinances and resolutions generally do different things. An ordinance establishes basically the law of Plainfield, and it becomes part of our municipal code. A resolution is any act of the governing body, and it could be the adoption of a contract, could be the designation of a redeveloper, but one establishes the law of Plainfield, one establishes any act taken by the body. Hopefully that's helpful in answering the question.
Are you ready? Okay, my name's Dan Dunn, everybody knows 1095 Kenyon Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey. I come this evening to speak specifically on one issue concerning these young African American males, period. They are being released from these different penal institutions throughout the state. Quite a few of them are from here. And as I see them on a daily basis, from time to time, well actually every day, they're walking up and down the street like lost souls. And I know, Mayor, you're doing the best that you can with what you got to work with, but I can't understand how there's $500 million that's set aside, or that you were able to convince developers to come to the city to invest in our wonderful town, why they can't, some kind of way, find something for these young males to do. Now, I do know, as Chief of Staff tells me, you guys are reaching out, you have different programs for them to sign up to, and they have to have skills, so on and so forth, etc. The bottom line, say they don't have any skills. A few of us come to me recently and said, Mr. Dunn, you know a lot about this town here. I walked past these different developments that's going on, one specifically not too far from where I live on South Avenue. And I asked, do they have any work or anything for us to do, and for me to do? And he says, you know, go here, go there, and it's like it's a turnoff. And he says, I don't want to be in this drug business, Mr. Dunn, anymore. You know, I want to do the right thing, but there's nowhere for me to turn. And my suggestion is, you put all these things in place. If they can't come to you, then you're going to have to figure out a way how to come to them. Because upon being released from these penal systems, coming out with very low self-esteem, you got to catch them before their buddies catch them on the corner that's waiting to be arrested, to tell them to come and get involved with him and violate the law again to wind up just back where he came from. So I say that on behalf, as a plea, please, please. I was in Washington a few weeks ago with the mayor at the Walk on Washington that happens once a year throughout the state. And I ran into a developer, and I had the New Jersey pin on, like you folk have. And the man asked me, was I a mayor? And I said, no. I said, I'm here representing my city of Plainfield. But the mayor is here, and would you like to meet him? He said, yes, Mr. Dunn, we have a big operation going on in Plainfield as we speak. And I started to step out of my league and go directly to this request that I'm asking you about. I was going to talk to him about it because he seemed as he was pretty high up on the food chain, on the chain. But what I did was politely introduced him to the mayor, and I stepped away from the conversation, if you remember. That's not correct, Mr. Mayor? And I figured some kind of way, we're going to have to do it. I don't care. I don't have the answer. I'm not God. But it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's very, very sad for me to be an African-American man who had so much success in my life. And I tried to help them all when I was able. But now, it's past me. Somebody's got to pick up the baton and try to help us, please. That's all I have to say. God bless you all, and I hope it gives you the strength to try to dig in and help me out with what I'm thinking. Thank you.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I have two topics tonight. I'll try to get them as quickly as possible. A few years ago, I was on CBAC as well, and I was honored to be chair. The budget was somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 or 10 million less than that's been introduced this evening. I'm concerned with, well, let's just say, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here almost 50 years. 45 of those years, we've been in the valley. The last 5 years, compliment to the administration and sitting past present council, we've seen growth. We've seen new building. We've complained, and it's hard to change, hard to improve. What I'm concerned with is, when do we, at the very least, see the break-even part? While I was on CBAC, we had a projection upon my request of approximately 4 years of revenue generated by apartments, new taxpayers, a lot of cases where buildings were either dilapidated or non-existent. No revenue generated, and now we have tax revenue. Great, wonderful, not a criticism whatsoever. But when do we see, we have a $10 million difference between then budget and this budget, and I'm not claiming that it's all expenses. There's plenty of raises and salaries and all the built-in increases. But when do we see the 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 apartments coming on board and raising monies to balance budgets with their increases per year? That's a question that some people are better than I am to answer. Second is, I was at the meeting a couple of weeks ago at Plainfield High School cafeteria, and some of you sitting elected officials were there, and some sitting on that very panel, whether it be the zoning or variance or other panels assembled there. It was embarrassing. The chair for the first 50% of the meeting was horrible behaved to the public. I get it. I'm much more comfortable in this setting for many, many years. It's unfamiliar setting in that, addressing that board and their structure and their rules and their regulations, and quite honestly, the public was temperamental, rude, and sometimes spoke out of turn. Absolutely. But I want to remind this body that we were, as the public, consistently directed to come here and speak before you, chastise you, complain to you about changes in the rules and the regulations and the laws that are presented to them, and at times having no power to change it. Now, I don't know if people are kicking the can or passing the buck, but somebody, and I don't mean that in a negative tone of actual money. I mean, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. And nobody's at fault. But the bottom line is, you gotta respect the public for coming up, stating their case, agreeing or disagreeing. Thank you.
Council President, at the appropriate moment, I do want to respond on the budget and comments.
Sure.
Is this the appropriate moment?
Yeah, sure. You
I
can respond to it.
take up the public comment period.
I said yes.
Okay.
Thank you, can
So I do want to point out that, and certainly some of the members of the CISPAC are here, that the CISPAC budget hearings with the City Council are beginning tomorrow, tomorrow night. They're going to be at the City Hall Library. I think it's at 7 o'clock.
It is at 7.
And the topic for tomorrow night is DPW, Department of Public Works, and the library. And then subsequent to that, there are, I think, 4 or 5 other meetings which are posted on our website, coming up in fairly quick succession over the span of April. So I encourage, members of the public are allowed to attend these meetings, and I think it's important because we have a very, very tight budget this year. I mean, expense did not go up as much as it has in previous years. In spite of that, we're facing a substantial tax increase because we've lost tax ratables. And this is mainly due to tax appeals by residents, successful tax appeals, which are done at the county level. So it's really important that people come out and express their views on our expenses and our taxes. I'm hoping that, and right now the budget, it's now introduced. I mean, it's been introduced and it's been accepted tonight by the council. So it's really up to the council now to make any changes, if any, that it wants to make, because it's the council's responsibility ultimately to approve the budget in whatever form we make it to be. So please come out and talk to your elected officials about your concerns. Certainly I've heard from a lot of residents that the taxes are really, really difficult. I've heard from seniors in particular, and I think we have to really come to grips with that. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else approach the mic, you were coming? Okay, please come.
President, Council members, my name is Ted Lestrange. I'm not a resident of Plainfield. My address is 43 Prospect Hill Road, Cullybackville. That's upstate New York. What I have to say is not good news, and I've entitled this Genocide by Scalpel, because that's the title given by one of the investigators into forced organ harvesting in China. This relates to the Donate for Life. But these investigators, their updated research concludes that China's hospitals transplant between 60,000 and 100,000 vital human body organs each year. But China's no real donation program. Here in the US, we're the most sophisticated organ transplant system in the world. Patients can wait 2 to 3 years just for a matching organ to become available. In China, the waiting time is measured in weeks. An organ transplant tourist to China, including one from Plainfield, can arrange a specific date for their operation. But unfortunately, that means someone will be killed on their behalf on that date. It's a cultural taboo to donate one's organs after death in China. So what's the source for all these organs? Translation of these facts equates to tens of thousands of prisoners of conscience each year being killed for the organs. Most of these prisoners of conscience are Falun Gong practitioners, but also Tibetans, Uyghurs, and House Christians. They're routinely blood tested and their organs examined while held in China's forced labor camps, detention centers, and black jails. I have a quote. On June 13th, 2016, the US House of Representatives unanimously passed.
I'm sorry, but I really don't know where you're going with this, and it's not related to Plainfield. Okay, so I thank you for coming, but we're going to cut that.
Okay, I have some handouts.
Okay, we'll talk to you offline. Okay.
Yes, Mr. President, he can give them to the clerk.
Clerk, give it to. I didn't necessarily think you can go. Okay. Seeing no one else coming, can I have a motion to close general comments?
So be seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion for adjournment?
Council President,
Sorry.
just one quick comment.
Mayor?
In response to something that was said by Mr. Danny Dunn concerning the importance of finding or providing opportunities for people who have returned from spending some time in jail and returning to the city, but not only people who spend time in prisons, but also our young people in the city, people in general. But I just want to remind everyone that we have partnered with New Jersey Build, and we have hosted meetings at City Hall where we extended invitations to the entire city to come in and sign up for these programs so that they can be trained and can become members of the different trade unions, whether it's the pipe fitters union, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, and we have successfully placed some of these individuals upon receiving the training with the different trade unions. And so there's nothing that is stopping any of the individuals who are interested in working from coming to City Hall and taking advantage of the opportunity to be placed with one of the partners that we have so that they can find gainful employment. And so I just want to stress that we continue to do all that we can to connect our residents with jobs and services so they can make a better life, for themselves. So I don't want people to embrace this notion that nothing is being done, and we can bring the opportunities to our residents, but our residents then have to embrace the opportunities so that they can provide for their families. We will continue to do that.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.